This tutorial will go through secondary economic activities in the North and West region. It's very important that you know the reasons for the lack of manufacturing in the North and West. The 5 items here in the yellow box are extremely important. The first one being that the transport infrastructure is very poorly developed. They don't have very many motorways. Secondly is low population density. For example, Leitrim has 18 people per square kilometre compared to Dublin's 1200 per square kilometre. 3 is that it's a peripheral location, so that means the transport costs are higher, they have further distance to travel. 4 is lack of power supplies capable of supporting an energy intensive or energy hungry industry. So all the large scale heavy manufacturing industry is not done over in the North and West, it's done in a core region like the GDA. And finally, a small urban population. They have a small labour pool for staff and they have a small market to sell to. There are some manufacturing industries in the North and West though, like food processing, timber processing, textiles and so on, but there isn't very much diversity, and the percentage of the labour force employed in unskilled occupations, so that's blue collar workers, is much higher in the North and West than the national average, and the percentage employed in professional occupations is lower, that's white collar workers. Even though they're still able to attract industry up there because they do have a young, educated and skilled workforce, and they've access to a large EU market. There's over 500 million people in the EU, and you know, with being one of the 27 member states, we've free trade, so there's no tariffs on their products. Also, lack of congestion. They don't have the problems like the M50 and Port Tunnel that we have here in Dublin. There's a high quality environment there as well. The Industrial Development Authority, the IDA, they do a lot of work to try and promote local enterprise in the North and West region. The government and the European Union also make policies for peripheral regions to try and boost their manufacturing base there. And there's a lot of scope for development there too, because they can base their industry on local resources. For example, you know, furniture companies could base on the local forestry there, a cheap local natural resource. Main centres of industry though would be the large towns and the city like Galway, towns like Castlebar, Letterkenny, Sligo and so on. Another local natural resource, should I say, that could be utilised would be the onshore gas that comes in from Corrib, the Corrib gas field. It's just about 80 kilometres off the coast of Balmullet. There's a processing plant in Balnaboy there where they dry the gas and remove impurities, and they add that gas smell that we all know. So that's a manufacturing base there in Mayo. The Irish government offers grant assistance and tax incentives through the IDA to new industries. So, for example, if you want to set up an industry in the Gaeltacht region in Donegal, that you can get the maximum level of grant assistance, and that's about 14 grand per person or per job per annum. They try to attract as many MNCs in the North and West as possible. Foreign direct investment is heavily relied upon here in Ireland. And with our low corporate tax rate of 12.5%, we do tend to get lots of companies investing here. The airports at Shannon and Knock as well offer global access to markets for raw materials and finished products. Galway is kind of the exception to the rule in the North and West in that it's a city, it's a big urban centre and has a variety of industry. A lot of the industry there will be knowledge based as well, based on, you know, electronics or the pharma tech industry and so on. Hewlett Packard is there, they make computers and printers and so on. Ingersoll Rand is also based in Galway, and that's an interesting case study because Ingersoll Rand make those club cars, the golf carts, and their manufacturing base is over in the North and West, a peripheral region, but their head office is here in the GDA, a core region, and that really falls into line with what we're learning about manufacturing in peripheral regions and service centres in core regions. And there's a lot of skilled workers there, as I mentioned already. There's University College Galway, that's UCG, churning out lots of students every year. There's GMIT, that's Galway Mayo Institute of Technology. So a large skilled graduate labour force in the North and West. Now many of these do migrate outwards, causing brain drain, but there is a certain element of people that will stay and work in these large companies in manufacturing. The N6 motorway gives direct transport link to Galway from Dublin and vice versa. Also, that means that companies can transport goods to Dublin Airport by road, fairly handy. There's a case study here that you need to know about, and that's a medtech industry in the north and west. So there's a company called Merit Medical. We're going to have a look at that case study now. You might find it surprising that there's a large cluster of medtech industries in the north and west. They make specialist medical equipment in hospitals all over the world, and 9 of the top 10 global companies have a manufacturing base in Ireland. And your example there would be Becton Dickinson, Medtronic or Merit Medical. Let me think now. Okay, the labour force is young and educated. 40% is under 25. Half of school leavers in the North and West region have third level education. Now, the second point, the NSAI, that's a really important one. This is our standards authority, okay? And it's held in really high regard globally, which means that if you're producing a manufactured product in Ireland and it gets the seal of approval from the NSAI, you can instantly sell it across the world then, because they basically have EU and worldwide approval. Another thing to note is that the North and West region contains centres of excellence in bioengineering, laser applications, tool making, IT. These service and supply companies provide the expertise needed to support the medtech industry. And I mentioned the low corporation tax at 12.5% before, and that really does help to encourage foreign direct investment into the area. Now, your case study, Merit Medical. Will you make sure you do no more than 8 SRPs in your essay about your case study? You can't have your whole essay as a case study. You need to have your points that I've just gone through, and then you talk about your case study. So have a look at that, guys. It's on page, what page is it on? 325, and read down through Merit Medical case study. It's very important, but don't do your whole essay on it. These employ 1,700 people globally, and I think over 400 of them or so are based in Galway. They make those kind of guide wires and catheters and things, you know, that you use to take blood and to give drips in hospitals and things like that. And they export all over the world. They have a suitable site there. They have a big skilled workforce. They have access to the European market. Response time is very quick to deliver the product from Ireland than anywhere else, and so on. So there's lots of information there about Merit Medical. It is a good example of manufacturing medtech industry in Ireland.